Hello scholars, welcome. Mr. Hinkle here. In this lecture we're discussing patterns of primary productivity and specifically how primary productivity varies through time and space by geography and season. So let's review. Primary productivity is the creation of new organic material. Basically it's microscopic phytoplankton, which are algae, reproducing to form the basis of marine food webs. They're not the only ones. You can see my lecture on types of primary producers, but they're the ones that create the majority of net primary production. So primary productivity requires sunlight and nutrients. In my introduced lecture, we drew the marine provinces and we showed that light is at the top of the water column. Nutrients are located on the ocean floor, and the nutrients make it up to the surface through the process of upwelling. Well, now we're looking at primary productivity and we're saying, well, how does it change through time? The answer is by season. And how does it distributed globally? And that is by latitude. So we are going to organize or differentiate primary productivity into three distinct regions: tropical, polar, and temperate. Let's start with tropical, the green line. It's always nutrient limited and has low productivity. The red line is polar, light limited in winter because primary productivity needs light, only has productivity when the sun begins to shine. And then in temperate latitudes, we see a spring bloom and an autumn bloom. So let's go into each of these just a little bit different in more depth. So tropical geography, tropical, has a permanent thermocline that is a barrier to vertical mixing. So the cold, nutrient-rich deep water has a barrier, so there's a lack of nutrients. Now, the exception here is in coastal areas where you have coastal upwelling that will support primary productivity in tropical regions. But for the most part, tropical has a low rate of primary productivity because of a lack of nutrients. So let's do this. Let's say we've got geography, tropical, and season, low in all. Okay, great. The poles. So our next geography is going to be polar, and the season that this is going to occur is going to be in summer because the winter is dark and the summer is light, and we need light for primary productivity. So what we have is primary productivity in polar regions occurring in summertime, and this makes sense. So here we see out of the winter months a spring to summer boom. Here it's diatom mass. Diatom is a type of phytoplankton. And then zooplankton, these are primary consumers. So the zooplankton eat the phytoplankton, and then larger marine animals eat the zooplankton. First the primary producers, then the primary consumers. This is awesome. Now, the geography is in the poles, and the season is in the summer when the light is available. That makes sense. If primary productivity needs light and nutrients, then it needs light to occur. Okay, so now our last is going to be here in temperate. Flex those quads. Got it. And here it's very seasonal. So this has all three, tropical, polar, and mid-latitude. So let's stick here with the green one, right? So in winter, we've got it low. Lots of nutrients, but no sunlight. In spring, we have both nutrients and sunlight. Hooray! Going into a summer low where the nutrients have all been used. There's still abundant sunlight. And then in fall, we have a resurgence of the amount of nutrients. There's still enough light for there to be an autumn bloom. So temperate is going to be spring and fall bloom. Okay. Whoop, too many things. Clicker, pen, pointer. Let's go here. Hands-free. Primary productivity is the creation of new organic matter in the ocean. And it's done by primary producers, mostly marine phytoplankton. Now, in order for primary productivity to occur, we need light and nutrients at the same time. This doesn't happen always in all of the oceans. It's unequally distributed through time and space, being geography and season. We can pull out three distinct regions of geography: tropical, polar, and temperate, and then look at what season these distinct regions will actually have higher amounts of primary productivity. In tropical, it's pretty low for any season because of a permanent thermocline keeping the nutrients from mixing with the light. For polar regions, when the sun comes out in the summer, we have primary productivity. And in temperate regions, we have primary productivity occurring in spring with the onset of sunlight, and then again in fall when there is a fresh batch of nutrients that becomes available for primary productivity to occur. So this is how primary productivity varies by geography and season. Thank you so much.